Good morning. This is Henry Jagers again. I'm putting together this message for those of you who are now receiving messages from a group called Christians Under Construction. Now, I am putting this message together mainly for those of you who are new to this group. And I've put you on this group for a reason. Now, some of you may choose not to be part of this. That's all right. You can, at the end of each message that I send, there's some links at the bottom of these messages. And you can either unsubscribe to these groups, or if you wish to review over past messages, what you can do is click on the second link that brings you to the actual group setting. When you get to that group, look at the left-hand top side. There'll be an arrow that points backward. If you click on that arrow, you will be able to have access to all the past messages that I have given to this group. Now, I have not been using this group too much for myself. I have a lady by the name of Pamela Davis and another lady called Willie White, who are contributing basically devotional messages. And I am using Christians Under Construction basically as devotional type messages. Now, just for your information, I have 4 different Google groups that I am conducting. This first one, Christians Under Construction, was my first group that I started. But since that time, other things have happened which would cause me to start some other groups. For instance, when we had this coronavirus and everybody was shutting down the churches and Sunday schools and places to gather, I decided to start a group at that time called Henry's Online Sunday School for such a time as this. And I've used this group basically to conduct Bible studies or Sunday school lessons on. I'm using them also to conduct Bible studies. Then is another group I just started recently on biblical prophecy. And I made this a separate group because there are some people who are interested in this subject. I've taught this messages on my other groups before, but for this new group, all of these things will be new. So I'm doing something different in my biblical prophecy groups. Then I have a 4th group that I started. I think it's probably the most beneficial of all. I started that with the purpose of sharing books with you that I have in my library that you probably do not have access to. And since the time I first started that group, I found out that I could put most of these or excerpts from these groups, from these books, on audios so you can listen to them as well. So since that time, I have decided that I will use this particular group as a Christian growth book group, and I'm sharing many different messages with you on audios and videos as well. So as I'm able to do it, I am using the library group in a more beneficial, productive way. And I have all of these groups listed on Facebook as well. I have 2 Facebook groups, and I have somewhere between 6 and 8 different groups I am conducting messages to. Some of those are groups that are have that are beneficial basically to those who are Christian writers. So all total, I have about 16 different groups I am posting messages to. So this one, Christians Under Construction, is a new one for some of you. And that's why I'm putting this message together. I want you to know what I'm doing. And some of you who are part of my other groups, I've put into this group as well. So some of you are going to be receiving these as new messages, but it's an old group. But I decided to do something more with it and make it more accessible. Like I said, I have two ladies, Pamela Ford Davis and Willie White, who are contributors as well. So I am posting their messages, but I'm going to start doing some more myself. Some of them may be repeats, but I'll try not to make them that way. So my messages in this group will be more devotional, and it's intended that way. So if you receive messages from this group, you'll see why it's different. Well, I thought I should give you some kind of explanation of what I'm doing. And I thought using these messages, I'm finding out I could use these messages and make them not Zoom messages, YouTube messages as well. So this makes them more accessible to those who wish to use it that way. Well, like I say, I'm just putting this together, especially for those of you who are new to this group, to let you know what I'm doing. I don't mean to overwhelm anybody, but as you know, I meditate on the scriptures. When I was a pastor of a church, I used to make messages from this. I prepared my messages through meditating, and I was able to preach. But not having a church anymore and having opportunities to preach like I used to, and having some disabilities like hearing and seeing, and I'd say I add speaking to that and that as well. But by using these Zoom messages, I'm able to improve a little bit on my speaking ability. I have to do everything as extemporaneous because I can't read notes. I can read some articles from my Bible study or readings from my Kindle reader, and I can put them on here as well as I'm conducting these messages. So I probably said enough, and I'm starting to ramble. So this is basically informative. Thank you for listening. We'll see you later as we continue our studies in these groups.